Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I usually solve lead code questions using Golang, but in this video I'll be exploring more practical aspect of Golang, like how would we solve like a real world task, something that you might be given in your day-to-day job of as a software engineer. So how would we solve it? So let's look into a task like that. And also the lead code videos that I'm working on will also continue to keep coming. I'm working on a couple of them right now, so they will also keep coming. And one more thing that I'll also be using cursor to do this task because I'm also doing this task for the very first time. So I'll also be exploring with you guys and we'll be using cursor to sort of get assistance with AI and sort of try to implement this task because that's how you would implement task in this generation in your workplace as well. So now let's dive into the task right away. So the task is you need to display the top 5 breaking news that is happening live on the terminal. Okay, that is the task. It seems easy, but the main thing is it should be live. So, how do you display the live news? So, in this case, you need to get the news from one of the news servers. Right, that's the only way we can get the live news. So, basically, we'll have to make a HTTP request, specifically GET request to any of the news servers, fetch the news, and display it. And it seems like a straightforward process, but there is a lot of things that you need to take care, like how does the structure of the JSON is that comes in from the server, how would you extract it. There are a lot of things that goes into it, so this is what we are going to explore in this task. So now that you understood the task, let's go and see how we can code this in cursor using Golang. So first thing first, let me check if the environment is properly set up. So let's print hello world. um, Expected package, so accept the tab. Yeah, hello world is working now. So in cursor, there are two modes. I'll also be explaining a bit of how you can make use of cursor to implement this task. There are two modes. One is if you do Control L in Mac. So let me clear my old chat. Sorry, let me get a new chat. Okay. So basically there is two things. Okay. If you do Control L, you will get a in Mac, you will get a new chat. So here you can directly tell task like I want to implement dot dot dot. You can directly just write it and then send. It will give you some code. You can either accept it or reject it. That's one way of doing it. But the big disadvantage of doing it like this is after a while you will have no control of what is happening in the code. You have no understanding of the code, and then you will sort of mess it up later on. So let's not do like this. I will show you how to sort of take assistance while writing the code itself so that we also understand the code, have a good knowledge of the code that we are writing, but also take advantage of autocomplete to code faster. So in a nutshell, don't use this mode as of now, if especially if you're a beginner, because you will not learn anything. So let's close that. So yeah, hello world is working. Now let's write a function get news. So yeah, we will do this plus API key. We will do this. So basically this is the news API I mentioned about. So we'll be making a HTTPS calls to this news service, and then we will be using the API key that we set in the environment to make this HTTPS call. So basically, whichever service that you are using, make sure you get API key from that and use it. So let's also get the API key from the yeah, this is what I wanted. Let's get the API key from the environment, and then let's do some error handling here. So this is how the error handling would happen. So you got a so basically when you do a HTTP call using get, and you also add your API key, which is already you have added in the terminal. So basically you would do something like export news API key, and you sort of add your API key here, and once you add that, we can just sort of use it here, and then you will get a response. And we are doing error handling. It also returns an error. If the error is not null, then you print out the error. Okay, think it also needs other packages. Import all of them. Import all the required packages, HTTP and OS. Okay, now yeah, so now what are we doing here? So as I mentioned, let me also just add comments so that you understand. Yeah, get news from basically the cursor auto completes the comments also. Get news from newsapi.org. So we are getting the news, and we are basically getting the top headlines using this line. And here we are basically error handling it. And then what does the differ function do in Go? So differ function basically makes sure this whatever function that we are doing body.close, this happens only after all the surrounding functions have been executed. So basically all the surrounding functions, it could be this and every other surrounding function to the differ, only after those functions have executed a response.body.close will be executed. That's what differ means. That's the objective of using differ. And what's happening in this line io.read all? So basically whatever response which we are getting by doing the API call, the body of it we are reading. Okay, now after that, so let's print the string of the body. Okay, now let's go and run the code. Sorry, you also have to call the function get news here. So basically you're getting some JSON here, some JSON. You might not understand what is how it's formatted. So that's why I have like properly pasted it in a good formatting here. So basically that response you're getting here will be well formatted into a JSON like this. So that JSON will have a status, and it will have how many total results it gave, and it will give like a slice of articles that has like source, the author of the article, title, description. Basically these are all the news sources and the news title and everything. This is exactly what we wanted to display, right? So that's what was printed when we did string of body. but we need to extract this JSON in a proper way, and we need to display it on the terminal. So displaying it like this just doesn't look good. So how do we do this? So let's do var stru struct news data, and then just don't remember the syntax. I think struct should come here. Okay, it's not used, but it's fine. Let's also have struct article, which is a slice, and then we can so I think you understood till here, right? So we are making the HTTP call. The differ function makes sure that whatever functions that surrounds it is called first, and io.readAll makes sure that we read the response of the body. And then this is the structure which I also was sort of struggling to write. So basically I wanted to sort of capture whatever is there in this JSON into a structure. So I created a news data structure inside which I have a slice of articles, and each of the value of the slice is a structure, because each of the article, if you see, has like various field: title, description, URL. So I'm basically capturing those here, and then we called json.unmarshal. So json.unmarshal is basically used to so basically if you pass response dot the body what you are getting after you read the response, if you pass it to unmarshal, it will sort of fetch the relevant fields like title, description, and it will append it to this structure. And then, as I mentioned, this article is basically like a slice. So I did a for loop, and then I printed the titles. Sorry. So let's print everything: title, description, URL, published at. And then for the sake of printing it nicely, I would say that let's if okay, let's take it as I. If I is greater than 5, then break. Okay, so we'll be only using top 5 news articles. Okay, now let's run it. So what are we getting here? It's not okay. There are some articles, something is happening, but I'm not able, it's not well readable. So let's sort of well format it. Okay, let's, and also make it bigger so that you can see. Okay, yeah, this is what we ran now. Go run main.go. So here is some heading: expect more fake eggs made of colored marshmallows or even potatoes on this here Easter spread. See, this is one of the news. And then it also gives us a link, and then we also have some description about the news. So title, description, and the link to that story, and published at is basically the timestamp on of when it was published. Okay, makes sense, but this is still not really readable. So now let's make it look good. So how do we do this? Let's do okay, make the title color yellow and color of link blue. So basically use this chat to sort of do the menial task like this, but do not try to make it generate the entire code. If you do that, you will not understand what's happening. So even if it generates a code, first see what it is trying to do here. So it's basically adding some color content to display it in the color that we requested it. So we accept the code. Yeah, now the color sort of looks good. Expect more. Yeah, this is the title, and this is some sort of description, and the link is in blue color followed by some timestamp. Yeah, so this is the task that I wanted to do, right? Now get the top 5 headings live from a HTTPS server, and from basically a news server, and then display it. So we have it. So I will just summarize what all we did in this small tutorial. So basically we have this get news function, and this API key you will have to set it. Do export news API key and set your API key to whichever news server you're using. And then whichever news server you're using, make use of the link here and add its API key. And in Go, make use of HTTP method. Specifically, since we are making a GET request to the news server, we will do .get. We will get response and we'll get error. First do error checking. If the error is null, if error is not null, then display the error. And then do a defer call. So what does defer do? It makes sure all the surrounding function is executed before this body.close is executed. And then read all response.body. So whatever content that we got by doing the HTTP call, we are reading it into this body. And then here we are creating a structure. We are creating a structure so that we can capture the all the JSON like title, description, URL into this structure. And this is basically like a slice of structures. So you have multiple structure where each of them contains these fields: title, description, URL, published at, and the type of all of them is string. And then we also have this unmarshal method. What is this doing? So whatever is in the body, which is basically a JSON response, it will sort of parse it and it will extract these individual things like title, description, and everything, and it will populate this structure. And now again a sort of error handling. And then, as I mentioned, this article is a slice of structure. So do a for loop, traverse the slice of structure, and display all the corresponding fields. And then I wanted only the top 5. So if I is greater than 5, break it. So doing this, we were able to sort of display like the main headings using Go. So I hope you understood the task, and thank you so much for watching my YouTube video.